Hello, YouTubers. Ooh, hello, frozen world. Is it still, has it got above freezing where you are yet? Oy vey, my life. But what do you do when God gives you snow and ice? You put planks of wood on the end of your legs. And that's what I intend doing over the next week or so. I'm away to Davos. Yeah, that Davos. I'm away to Davos on Saturday. And I'm skiing around Davos and Cloisters. I don't know whether I'll see any royals. They're bound to go, blimey, is that Adrian Allen? So if I see anybody, I'm taking this with me. And I'll take my little gimbal. So I might do some of the runs and I might do some bits and pieces while I'm away skiing for a week. But who knows? Davos. Yeah, that Davos. There's only one Davos. I mean, I wonder who's there this week. Zelensky, president of Ukraine's there. He'll be saying, here, well, give Adrian Allen that bottle of Jägermeister when he gets here for his skiing. Aye, right, mate, aye. Aren't you at war? I mean, I don't know a country that's at war where somebody's fraternising with the Americans and rich boy Sunak, send us a couple of tanks. Now him and his missus are in Davos. What are they doing there? The country's at war. Get back here, Roman. The other thing I wanted to mention is a fabulous, yes, I know, I can't say fabulous or fairer than that. There's a guy called Martin Sullivan who made me roar. Somebody alerted me to either search for Martin Sullivan or search for Drunken Tribute to Adrian Allen discussing Alex Belfield. It is genius. Martin, if you're seeing this or watching this, I want to say thank you. It proper made me chuckle. It's only a minute long, but made me proper chuckle. He does this, like I've got all me, stuff. So he's on his sofa and he's handwritten all of these bits and pieces, LBC and Caesar the Boogeyman. And honestly, go and check it out. If you're a radio anorak, it's funny, proper funny. It made me roar. Thank you, Martin. I really appreciate it. It is a tribute, of course. And I agree with you about Invicta FM. There was a radio station with some fabulous tunes on it. He also does this little short. And shorts are going to be the in thing for YouTube and everywhere, because I think they're starting to be monetized in February. So everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon and do shorts because they've got to take on TikTok. But Martin's done this really funny short about as an homage to History Debunked. It is just brilliant. And he loves his rap because he does some bits and pieces. Sorry, Martin, I just checked out your channel. It was brilliant, legendary. And he also mentions a guy called Andy the Gabby Cabby, which I'm a little confused by because the Gabby Cabby's from New York. And the Gabby Cabby was on commercial radio all the way through the 80s as I was starting my career, and on various commercial radio stations around the UK. He was like a gossip columnist who would give you the latest gossip from America or who he'd had in the back of his cab. And this was back in, blimey, 85, 86 when I first heard him. So the Gabby Cabby is actually a New York cabbie that I've known of for nearly 40 years. I understand that Andy the Gabby Cabby got the name from Alex Belfield. There you go. I told you before, Alex Belfield hasn't got an original idea in his bonce. So he's told somebody else, call yourself the Gabby Cabby. And obviously Andy's not to know where the Gabby Cabby's from. But anybody who knows anything about the radio industry knows the original Gabby Cabby is from New York. What was I going to say? Just another quick little aside before I get into your comments. Something weird's happened today. I went onto my desktop computer, accessed the internet by I don't know why I was pointing over there. My internet access is via an ISP, internet service provider. So I go on there, and the reason I go on there is I wanted to know what the betting odds are for Keir Starmer to be the next Prime Minister. I couldn't access anywhere. I literally couldn't access any of the betting sites. I won't name them, but any of the betting sites. I went on, tried to go online, and they wouldn't allow me to access those sites. That's my ISP. Now, two things here. One, if they are going to stop me from accessing betting sites when I'm not even betting, what else are they going to stop me from accessing? What truths could they stop me from accessing? That's very worrying. And secondly, he's 3-1 on. 3-1 on. So the bookies never get it wrong. Bookies have decided that Keir Starmer is going to be the next Prime Minister of the UK. Excuse me. So I don't know. Rich boy Sunak is not very effective, is he really? He just looks like a spitting image puppet. Nobody's going to trust him. There's only one man can win the general election for the Tory party, and they've knifed him in the back. Well, we don't know who, but if you're a betting man, and I'm not because I can't access the betting websites, rich boy wanted the top job. So that's kind of like something weird's happened today around trying to access and get the odds for Keir Starmer becoming the next Prime Minister. And 3-1 on, he's definitely going to be the next Prime Minister. But I'm not a betting man. And I'll tell you for why. There is a legendary story within my family that when I was a young guy, from the age of 13, I had a paper round, and from 15, I had a Saturday job, 14 or 15 Saturday job, and I earned a few bob. I mean, back in those days, for a 13, 14-year-old, it was a king's ransom. And in 1979, I get a phone call from my uncle, whom I love dearly and is a legend. I mean, he's a great, great, great man. And I trust everything implicitly that he says. So in 79, he rings me up about this time of the year. And he says to me, Adrian, because he talks like that, Adrian, get your shirt, the house and everything you've got on a horse called Ben Nevis. It's going to absolutely romp the Grand National. I was like, are you sure? Yeah, I'm telling you, get your shirt on it, get every penny you've got on this horse. Anyway, 1979, about a month before the race, 3 to 4 weeks, Ben Nevis is pulled out of the Grand National. So I didn't bet, didn't gamble. So it comes to 1980, and about a month or so before the race, I was waiting to make sure that Ben Nevis was actually going to run after being pulled in 1979. And I'm just stewing this over in my head. And I says to my mum, Mum, I've got a call from Uncle, I'm not going to mention him here, this is YouTube, remember. He said to me to get me shirt on this horse called Ben Nevis. And I'm thinking, I've got a £5 in my pocket. Do you think... Now, the average wage in 1980, just to give you some context, was probably about 40 to 50 quid a week at the top end, depending on what you were doing. I ended up being a motor mechanic. And a motor mechanic, they were getting about 40 or 50 quid a week. And I said to my mum, Mum, this horse, Ben Nevis, my uncle said, your brother, my mum's brother, get everything on it. No, son, you never see an impoverished bookie, do you? Keep it in your pocket. Bookies always win. I was like, all right, Mum, thanks for that. Yeah, you're right. Common sense, Mum. I won't put any money on the GGs today. No. And it was at 50-1. So I would have put £5 in taxes on 50-1. So anyway, race day comes up. I said to my mum, are you really sure? Yes, son, don't you worry. It's never going to win. The bookies always win. You'll just lose £5. Ben Nevis won the Grand National in 1980 at 50-1. It won by 20 lengths. It literally walked the whole race. It just romped it. Nobody could get anywhere near it. Exactly as my uncle the previous year had said. It was going to romp it. It was just going to beat everything and walk it. It was going to win the Grand National. But not only did it win the Grand National in 1980, it won at 50-1. Well, it won, I think it was at the end, it won at 40-1. But I would have had my bet on at 50-1. Oh, the atmosphere in the house, deadly. I didn't speak to my mum for 2 weeks. And she only broke the silence because she made me cheese scones. Way to a man's heart, cheese scones. So that's why I've never been a betting man since. Because of Ben Nevis, a great horse, romped the Grand National at what would have been 50-1 for me at 20 lengths. I would have won 250 quid. As I say, that's like 5-6 weeks' wages for the average man. My mother. She's no longer around, so, you know, I say it with the greatest fondness of memory, because I do still love my mum with everything that I am. So that's my little betting story for you. Let's get into some of your comments. Honestly, I just love them. I do. I love them because I can look at them and see who's got capacity or not, because it's very obvious. First one today is from 1976 IAP. Adrian Allen, sorry, but I've never heard of you. You have now. Joe Baird. Adrian, how can Alex Belfield be stalking anyone? He's in jail. I suppose us taxpayers are paying for this malicious nonsense. Yeah, we are, technically. So you're paying 3 times for him. So, Joe, thank you for that. Dave T. Quick update, Adrian. Alex Belfield is still 100% more popular than you, and he's in prison. Dave T. Brilliant. I've never denied that he was very good at his YouTube videos. I've never denied that he was popular. I haven't checked today to see what his membership count has gone down to. But when you nick my on-air persona and you nick my lines and you nick my catchphrases, no, that's not a man with integrity. And now he's a convicted stalker, and now he's doing jail time. Not that I take any glee in that, but when you play with fire. Danny Garrigan. Not quite understanding this one. As I say, you kind of get a flavour of people's capacity. Danny Garrigan. Britain needs a bulldog. A half staffy, half pugs. The best we got. Attack, Alfie. Attack. Danny, you've been on the cock and sherry again. Jeffrey Harris. Where is Alex in prison? Rutland somewhere. Now, I used to live in Bottlesford, beautiful village, in between Nottinghamshire and Radford, that kind of area. Beautiful. But so Rutland Water is a beautiful place, and it's not far away from Bottlesford or Nottingham, if his family want to go visit. Dave T. Spoiler! The comments section is full of trolls having conversations with themselves about how their trolling is better than Alex Belfield. Is it? Marco. Oh, man. Are you obsessed with the bloke? You have another wobbly, man. Another wobbly? Marco, is that Mr. Wobbly hides his hat? Those who know, know. Lemmy. Who would have thought Alex was a rear gunner? He'll be in his element now with Big Leroy. JT, I told you months ago it was obvious you were going to try to take his place on here doing phone-ins. 'Cause you're green with envy at the money he's made on here. You won't get off the ground, pal. You just don't have the right character about you. Oh, JT, you're far too kind, sir. Far too kind. All I can say is, JT, you're obviously not listening to what I'm saying. You may be hearing what I'm saying, but you're definitely not listening. I've told you, Alex Belfield was my phone-op at Century 106. He wasn't good enough to be the phone-op for the network shows on Century Radio across the northeast of England and North Yorkshire, on Century Northwest, or Century 106 across the East Midlands. That's a fair old size radio show, and he wasn't good enough. He was good enough to sit through the glass and answer the phones. And he sat there watching what I did at close hand. And then when he had the opportunity, because he's always wanted to do it, he's done it on various radio stations, whether it's BFBS in Germany or whether it's Capital AM in London, he's always wanted to do my phone in the way I did it, copying me. And then he does it on YouTube. So no, I'm not copying him. I'm not interested. I'm going to be me and do me. He can only remember so much, but I'm just being me. James Diamond. Surely not The James Diamond. Standard of proof for those who brought it is a lot less. Remember that. In civil cases, yes, of course. Thank you, James. So the civil case, beginning of March. Alex is back in court again. John Dunn. Apparently, the Lamley pub, Alex's local, has closed. Dan Miller. Adrian, I'm going to buy the Lamley pub. It's closed down. Roger. Alex Belfield's favourite pub, the Lamley, has closed unexpectedly. None of the locals knew anything about it. And Andy Sinsky reported on Nottinghamshire Live that the pub, the Lamley, which is associated with the vile stalker, has closed suddenly without warning or notice. That's such a shame. I mean, who's he going to have the cheque sent to? As another little aside, because I'm trying to rattle through these, because this is my local, then I might have the odd snifter or three in. I was having a chat with the landlady, licensee, and she was saying to me that because of the cost of living crisis and the energy cost crisis, her energy bills have gone up massively. I mean, breathtakingly. So she said, have a guess how much I'm paying per quarter for me energy. And I said, I don't know, something exorbitant, $5,000. No, and I'm not going to play this game backwards and forwards. I'm going to tell you straight away. £46,000 per quarter. That pub's not going to survive. I know it's not. Nobody can afford that. There's absolutely no profit in what she's doing. £46,000 for the cost of her energy bills for 1 quarter. It would be bad enough for a year, but it's 1 quarter. These idiots in the Pink Palace, they need to get their act together. They need to be doing and protecting us and businesses and our livelihoods and our wherewithal. That's their job. Instead of making laws to control us. They think we're stupid. Rich Boy Sunak, more about him in another video. Pie Whacker Trixie Bell. Adrian, what are you reading that rubbish for? That's the Spare book. Honestly, I feel grubby every time I pick it up. Keft in me pants. Wow, 24 out of 35 videos are about Alex Belfield. Obsessive behaviour or what? No, it's what the audience want. I had a poll recently and I asked, do you want me to continue with the Alex Belfield videos? 73% of the respondents, and there was nearly 1,000 of them, said, yeah. So, I'm just giving the audience what they want. Danny Garrican again. Great start as always. Love it. Hello, YouTube family. Got an eye on you, world. Damn right. Back in the day, I worry about you. Back in the day too. It's just a show. He's not even in prison. And you are an agent of the system. That's more than cooking sherry back in the day too. God be. Come with me skiing next week. Me and you for breakfast. Jaeger bombs. Keeps you going all day. Has that lovely warming effect for while you're on the slopes. In fact, actually, the weather now, Jägermeister for breakfast. Keep you going all day. I'm not suggesting, chug jugs. I'm just a little snifter. It keeps you nice and warm. Nico, Toscani, poor Alex, being tormented. I'm not tormenting him. Can't watch this. Leslie McLennan. How long has he been in jail? September 16th, Leslie. That's when he went down. He was told a month before, get your house in order, you're going to go down. Michael Ayling. I can't see that Alex has ever been a threat to anyone. A lot of what he said was hypocritical to how he acted, but who cares? Most politicians do that, but as time goes by, things are forgotten. Well, the jury didn't forget. And the jury just listened to all the evidence. And the jury found him guilty on 4 counts. And the judge was just following sentencing guidelines, even though he got one of them wrong. So young Alex could have been, he was facing 22 years in jail, was given 5.5. He'll do 2.5, and he'll do 2.5, 2 years, 9 months on licence. He's going to have to behave himself. Daisy Maisie, Happy New Year. Daisy Maisie, Happy New Year to you too. I mean, when do we stop saying that? February? Beverly Macker, you've not read the book, have you? Some of it. That's why you're not saying anything yet. You've just read and listened to the mainstream media. You'll realise once you've read the book that Harry is a good, honest and decent lad. Beverly, I know you're trying to wind me up. It's not going to work. When some guy is thinking about the cream that his mother put on her lips and he's slapping it on his schmeckle, no, that's just perverted. The Artful Todger. Alan, it would be funny if Carol Vorderman and Diane Abbott were the other two complainers. Oh, I mean, wouldn't it? Just wouldn't it? That is very funny, Alan. Thank you for that. So there's 10 taking him to court beginning of March. Stalking prevention orders, 10 of them, 8 from the court case and 2 others. I think one's going to be DC Percival. I don't know who the other one is, but it'll be interesting to see. The uninvited guest. Happy New Year, Adrian. This year has started off with a bang. Alex is back in court again with an SPO order. I think one of the other 2 people is Ian Lee. And to be honest, don't blame Ian for doing that. Like I said many a time, Alex should just get on with it. Keep his head down and do what is necessary for him to do and to get his sentence over with. His family should also be saying that as well. That's if the family are having anything to do with Alex. Who knows? By 2023, it's going to be an interesting year with civil cases brought by DCI Percival. I thought she was a DC, or Detective Chief Inspector, and Vine looming as well. A possible fraud case, which could be on the table also. Rusty Trombone. Thank you, Rusty Trombone. I know your brother, Rusty Bullet Hole, and your sister, Pink Trombone. The whole tooth and nothing but the tooth. Look, people have been saying, they've been writing to me saying, Adrian, have you been in a fight? What's happened? What's happened? I could be really macho and say, yeah, I was in a fight and I got a tooth knocked out. But it's even funnier than that. No, I'm not a violent man at all. Train in it. I train in a martial art called ninjutsu, so I don't have to use it. I'll leave that with you. That'll mess with your noodle. But no, it was man versus bacon roll. Bacon roll won. So I've had to go and have a bit of work. And because of all my other commitments, work and holidays, I can't get the crown done. I can't get it done until the beginning of February. So I'll sit here. And you can take the Michael as much as you want, because I'm not vain at all. IP Daily, come on! Leave Alex Belfield alone! The night this happened, I was up Buckingham Palace giving his best mate help and advice. It's full of people on the cooking sherry today. Don't know what's going on. Lee Christopher, thank you, IP Daily. I do appreciate it. Lee Christopher, thanks, Adrian. Another good vid. Stay safe. And Emma L, thanks for the update, Adrian, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Emma. I wonder if any of his cult will turn up outside the court to see their leader. Leader! Leader! And you know who used to shout that, don't you? Leader! Gary Glitter. Seaside Mom, thank you for the update, Adrian. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. Gareth Henshaw, great video. Will you be commenting on the Lee Ryan case? Oh, look, he's not. He's probably had a sniff of a barmaid's apron and gone a bit nuts. So he should be grovelling to the aircrew that had to deal with him. I've said before, I'm not a violent man, but to protect others, I wouldn't have allowed that to get so far. But he needs to be grovelling. He needs to be eating a lot of humble pie. Maybe put a concert on with his blue bandmates and put some money into aircrew who have to deal with idiots like him. Chris, bride's knickers on a honeymoon. It's the vintage best description you've made in a long while, Adrian. You made me chuckle. Have to quietly, as at 1:45 in the morning. Got to think of the neighbours. Imagine. Thank you, Chris. Anthony, Alex was looking at 20 years. For what? Upsetting a few people. That's a bit harsh, don't you think? I think he got away a bit lightly, to be fair. Anthony. Lightly. normally in a radio studio, we have something called a cough button. So that if you need to cough, you press the button, silences everything, and the listeners never know that you need a cough. Not on YouTube. Finally, Oleg Gorky. Adrian, and I'm going to finish this video with this. When I first saw Alex Belfield on YouTube during lockdown, meant to preface this by saying that I think this is the zeitgeist. I think this is where the majority of people have got to and are thinking currently. Oleg, thank you. When I first saw Alex Belfield on YouTube during lockdown, he tapped into my dislike of the BBC. He also seemed to be fresh and humorous. He seemed to possess a spark, but as time went on, I realised that he only talked about the same things all of the time. He never exposed any corruption at the BBC. He just ranted at a few people whom he disliked. In the end, it was neither entertainment or journalism. I gradually began to notice that he was just a nasty piece of work when I heard him ranting on at various groups who he thought that he could get away with. Such as the LGBTQ people, single mothers, people with mental health problems, and the unemployed, which, incidentally, he had been until very recently before lockdown. I started to see that he was just a tosspot. I absolutely stopped watching soon after. I saw him say that he would never ask his subscribers for money, and he lambasted those on other channels who did. A short while later, guess what? Yeah, you got it. He started asking his subscribers for money and then boasted about going to Vegas, which is when I didn't even watch it. I didn't watch it just to watch him sneer anymore. The BBC didn't turn me against Alex. Alex turned me against Alex. One thing I do remember is that when he was lambasting gay men in one video, a knowing commentator suggested to him that a single man who doesn't have a relationship with a woman and doesn't appear to like talking about his relationships with them, who has no children and lives alone, might be doing this as a beard. Sophie Wessex. How odd then when the judge at his trial rejected his sentiments in detailed summary of the case that he wasn't prejudiced against the LGBTQ because he himself was amongst them. Alex doth protesteth too much. Thank you for all of your comments. I do appreciate them. Keep them coming. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen, and I'll see you in the next video.